individual situations where there is a convergence of, let's say, male being, in this case, if it's a male, then they're insecure about something because the wife is financially independent, right, in this case.
The man by instinct knew that now she cannot go out and get food. And now this one little creature also needs to be fed.
Feeling of success, whether it's Indra Louise's example or others, is about how much progress you made from the last time. So if that child's report, and I've had that experience where, how come you didn't get 100? You have 92. What happened to the other 8 points?
To all the men, I would say that if you feel threatened, if you feel that a woman who's doing better than you, there's something wrong with her, it's an indication you need to work with yourself.
Every relationship problem that you have with your partner, your children, your team members, your parents, starts in the same place. It starts with you.
I'm Dr. Sapna Sharma. I've spent 20 years as a relationship and parenting counselor, sitting across from people who are hurting, confused, and looking for answers, but all in the wrong places.
And I'm Raju Panjwani, 2 marriages, loss, rebuilding, and I've spent years coaching senior leaders on what it actually takes to show up consciously at work and at home.
So here together we are going to have the conversations most people avoid. There's no prescription here, just conversations.
About love, about marriage, heartbreaks, and what it really takes to grow. We hope this strikes a chord with you, and we hope you join us. This is the Relationships and Marriage Podcast.
Welcome back to the Relationships and Marriage Podcast. I'm Dr. Sapna Sharma. With me is Raju Panjwani, and today we are discussing a very interesting topic: the silent clash of female independence and male insecurity. Does it exist, or is it in our imagination, or how is it being presented? How are people coping with it? So we thought that let's discuss how actual people feel about this, right? So Raju here is a coach and he does a lot of one-on-one coaching work with his clients. So Raju, let's start with this question for you. Are you ready for it?
Well, as ready as I will be because, I can only see the symptoms and behaviors as we talk.
Yeah, right. So Raju, in your coaching work, what happens inside a person when their partner starts outgrowing the version of them that they married? I mean, have you met such people and have they shared it with you? How do they go through this?
Well, the coaching container, as we call it, is a safe space for them to be, open and honest with me, because several of them have said that they can only have this conversation with me because I'm independent. I'm not a therapist because therapists, work with behaviors of why they do what they do today. On the other hand, I focus on where they are today and take them in the direction of where they need to go because they've identified that need where they want to go. So typically, if it's a company that's sponsoring them to come to my coaching program, or if it's just, directly one-on-one with them independently because they paid for it, there's a difference. So when they have skin in the game, it's a little different conversation, but regardless, they're in this safe place to communicate. So I think what I see is, in terms of how it manifests for them at work, right? That's a very common thing. So when you start digging a little bit deeper, you find out that they really have this over the past 20 or whatever years of marriage that they've been in a situation, and somehow that shows up at work. And sometimes any conversation you have about, let's figure out what's going on and how can we deal with this, it comes back to, well, I really did not have a good night's sleep because we were arguing about something, and hang on, what's with that? So those are the situations. So as far as individual situations where there is a convergence of, let's say, male being, in this case, if it's a male, then they're insecure about something because the wife is financially independent, right, in this case. I'd say I've only run across a few of these situations, but that I identified, but it's hard to know. But all I'm saying is that their behavior or whatever the interaction they have with their team members or bosses, etc., it sometimes goes back to this situation that you're describing.
So do they actually talk about this? That are they aware that they're being bothered by this, their partner doing better than them?
I'd say no, oftentimes not. And then when you dig deeper, it turns out there is a bigger issue. And I have often suggested, listen, I'm not a therapist. Maybe you should consult one. So that's happened. And that is independent of coaching because I'm not a licensed, I guess for therapy, you have to be licensed. And I don't want to go into that. So that's more past behavior, how it impacts me today, of whether it's childhood trauma or God knows whatever. Why does the male feel insecure? I mean, that to me is a big question. Why do you feel insecure?
Yeah. Have you ever asked that question to anyone? Why do you feel insecure?
I don't ask that way, but I mean, I can say, are you feeling insecure about something in your relationship? Maybe the question is back at you, Sapna. Is male insecurity in such situations truly only about the woman's success? Or is it that this guy, the person I'm talking to, is it him? How do you even get to that stuff?
Okay, so we really need to go back thousands of years to understand probably
Oh.
where this is coming from. And this is one of the theories, of course. But traditionally, the male and the female have always had division of roles. Though now there is a lot of overlap, but traditionally there has always been a division. I believe that when the prehistoric man was there, and there were just a few of them, the first time when the female had a baby, okay, the man by instinct knew that now she cannot go out and get food. And now this one little creature also needs to be fed. And so, by virtue of whatever connection they had, the intimate connection, he feels responsible for them, right? So he goes out and he provides for them. And then he also protects them because they would live in a not very comfortable environment. So he would protect them if there was a danger, there was a physical danger,
Mhm.
right? Because
Right.
this female and the newborn were in no condition to help themselves, right? So if we take that into consideration, developmentally now, that is where the man comes from, right? His role is to protect and provide, right? The female role is all related to emotions. She has to feel all the emotions to, you know, tender all the care and everything. So now, if we see when the women are around the world are talking about that, men are not able to give us enough emotional support or involvement in us.
And
What
in the current day now, after
in the
thousands
current
of years.
now the current day, most of the women, complain about this, that he doesn't appreciate me, he doesn't tell
That's
me he
right.
loves me, and all of those things, because those are her emotional requirements, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, what the male is not able to speak is, I want to feel that I am taking care of you. I
Yes.
want to feel that I am the one providing for you, I am the one protecting you, and I want to feel that because of me your life is better.
Mhm.
That is the basic male requirement. Okay. Now, as we see, the roles have changed today. The women have taken up the role of breadwinning also. They want to be everywhere, and they are actually keep talking about equality to men. We can do everything that you can do. Okay. Now, the attributes of personality that a female has, okay, to connect with people, to connect with the society, to connect with the family, to take care of them, and to get involved with the children, to get involved with the relatives and all. Those attributes do not come naturally to men. While women have taken up the providership also to them, like they're also earning and taking care of themselves, men did not majorly gain any new attributes to their personality. Okay. Now,
So
so
that's
if
what
we
leads
have,
to insecurity.
that will lead to insecurity because this man has got nothing to feel good about himself now.
Right. Mhm.
Like, because he's been reminded continuously by the woman that I'm also earning, so don't tell me that you are something special, or anything like that.
Right.
So now he is nothing practically, right? And that is his only identity, unfortunately. Maybe now, if we look at it in the current scenario, then perhaps because the world is always now giving importance only to the materialistic aspect of being human. How much you educate yourself, how much you earn, and how much you create the assets. In
Yeah.
that definition, the man who has never had any other attributes that he wants to highlight, he's lost because he's not no one special. Even earlier, the man was not special because in the outside world there was a lot of competition, but he was special to his family
That's right.
because he was the one bringing in their supplies and bringing in support and protection. Now there's nothing for him to feel that I am something special, and that I believe is the root of where we would say this whole thing about male insecurity is.
So when you add to that the fact that men identify with their careers or the work that they do, right? Because they're the provider naturally in that way,
Yeah.
as you said. So therefore, if I'm doing all that, and then my wife is also maybe doing something in addition to working, and of course she takes care of the household, and then she goes, "I've been, you think you are special, you work all day, going crazy, etc." And I'm doing all the other stuff on top of that. So come on, let's not, don't tell me that you are something, right? And so
Exactly.
that's
So
the
now you're
friction.
being told that you are actually nothing. You're not even doing one third of what I am doing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And then this, my client, for example, walks into, he's at work or doing his thing and managing, 7,000 people in his organization. And there's always this built-in friction, but they all say one thing, Sapna, and maybe that's a psychological thing that you can highlight. Hey, I am devoted to this work that I do, and this is what I'm now, helping people and their families. This is my sphere of influence, and At what point can they even identify the so-called friction that they have of how they feel is showing up because they're not really aware of that. They think that there's a role. I have a role here, I have a role there. I'm a role as a
Yeah.
father, a parent, or I'm a role as a husband, and that sits over there and has nothing to do with how it impacts me at work. And I think that's a big friction that comes up.
Yeah, and let's expand a little bit on that. So we talked about the historical and developmental perspective.
Right.
Now, there's another third aspect to it, which is my favorite topic, and that is the feeling of self-worth. We would be touching it off and on in relationships because it's the most important thing. Because no one, neither the educational institute nor the parents, are working on developing the sense of self-worth in children. Most of us are growing without feeling worth enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of us who recognize this factor and we work on ourselves, we are able to do, understand and get over it. But most of us are not. So my sense of self-worth is always small
Mm-hmm.
because there is always someone better than me. And the world is always talking about, are you the best? Are you the best? If you go to the
Right.
school, are you the best? If you are in
Yeah,
the sports, are you the best? So everywhere, if you're best, you are something. If you're not the best, you're nothing. That's the message which
that's
has
right.
been given to us. So all of us carry a sense of low self-worth. And when I'm in that feeling, I need to feel good somewhere. I mean, I'm a human, come on, right? I need to
Mm-hmm.
feel good somewhere,
Yeah,
right? Because if I'm out working, there are thousands of men who are out working. No one says that you are very something very special or you do something very good. So already I'm not feeling very good about myself. And the one place which has traditionally been told to me, which has socially been told to me, is that, that you are the superior person in the relationship. You are the man. You're supposed to take care of everything. You're supposed
that's
to
right. For
put
sure.
everything right. Now, I have that in my mind. So I go back home where I want to feel, I want to see everyone feeling that, wow, here's the man of the house, he's the one. And no one feels that way. Okay. On top of that, earlier, at least when the women were not earning, at least there would be some occasion when the man would be feeling, okay, I am the one who's,
Right.
it's because of me. Even that is taken away from him. So that is the second factor that we are talking about, the male insecurity.
So
One
is
is
it
the
coming from the fact that the society and the world is encouraging independent women and therefore that's the cause, or is this just one of the many causes?
that's one of the few causes. We are talking about the male insecurity,
That's right.
right? And now then
Hmm.
let's come to the third one, which is again very important. From say last about half a century in different parts of the world, we started talking about empowering the woman,
That's right.
right? Everyone has been talking about empowering a woman, educate her and treat her well and teach her how she can take care of herself and to have an opinion, right? Now, when a woman has an opinion, she can really speak. That's the female quality. Conversation is majorly the forte of a woman. She can really speak when she has an opinion. She can, stand up for herself. Again, while the whole world was concentrating on empowering the women, unfortunately, no one looked at what's happening to the men. They were also little boys growing up along with the same little girls, right? But they were totally ignored in this entire process. And so, of course, their self worth was not looked at.
Yeah.
And now, if you see in most of the universities, you'll see the number of girls is much higher than the number of boys across the world. Right? I was visiting one of the government offices here recently, and I just talked about, I just asked them how many women are working here, and they say in the new recruits, most of them are women.
Mm.
So, with that happening and the men not being given any special care that they need as they grow up, with all of them, they're lagging behind. I'm not saying all of them, I'm just talking about the trend in general. And plus, then the social responsibility or the social pressure of the unsaid being male thing. So, you need to feel superior, but you are not. And you are not happy with yourself. You are not contented with yourself either. And then you are with a woman who is self assured, who has been given so much of confidence in her that now she can stand up for not just for herself, for everyone, right?
So
So
what are
in
we
this,
solving for? Like if I'm the
sorry,
man shows up, if I'm shows up my behavior because of the friction inherent, not known to me because I'm not aware this is happening. What is the solution for me to, other than become self-aware? But it's not that straightforward, right? I as a man,
actually it is.
therefore,
No. It's not about being a man. It's about just being a human and knowing yourself,
Right.
getting in touch with yourself. You know, you are doing all the work. So it's always for whatever solution we are talking with. We said that this podcast is talking about the solution starts with you, whatever the issues are. So yes, it is actually that simple to, if we think about it, we need to become self-aware. After self-awareness comes the second step, that is self-acceptance. When you have a good acceptance of self, that's when you get enough self-respect. That's when your self-worth grows. Now, this is how things are connected. Why it is difficult? If I'm saying it's simple, why it is difficult? Difficult is the first step of even knowing that I need to change something in myself.
It's the indicator for what's happening here.
Most of the time, it's just so much easier to take out the finger, find out anyone you can point out and say, no, it's because of him, because of her,
Right.
because of this person that I am unhappy. So that is the
Absolutely.
difficult part.
That's right.
Once each one of us realizes that, I need to change, the next steps are simpler. It's not that difficult.
Right. It's always the hard thing. So when you have a pain, it's an indication in your body that something is wrong, like in a symptom. Here, if you have
Absolutely.
a symptom, you recognize the symptom, and only then can you deal with it, because other than that, there's no beginning point. You're saying in the last half centuries, so the equilibrium has gone in one direction societally, how women are perceived and why this fiction shows up. It's still about the outside world that the male worries about, right? And women
Mm.
too. But
Yeah.
like we all worry about whether it's not blaming something, but blaming something always outside of us. The traffic is a problem, or that's a problem, that's a problem. It's not my fault. We always have this refrain, it's not my fault. Well, we always say that because it's been conditioned in us that if you're not doing something right, it's wrong. And if it's wrong, if you're not doing something wrong, then you're right. This is a binary world we've been living in, right? Thus far. So you blame something outside. Oh, this person did that to me, and my husband did that to me, my wife did that to me. The ideal world is not there, right? We're not there yet. But in a situation, what's the first step you recommend to the man in this example that we've been talking about? Poorly, it's a man.
I would say that the first step for both of them is to basically understand that it's we are equal, we are as partners. We are different, we are not same. We are
Yes.
equal as partners. Right? So the attitude of showing each other that I'm better than you is not doing
Yeah,
good to anyone, because ultimately if the relationship is lost, both of them are lost. It's not just one
exactly.
person who's losing it, right? So
Particularly if
it's
children are involved, it's even worse for them, right?
absolutely. And I see, the very simple things that, like, a woman always expects and talk about it. He should tell me I love you. He should hold me and he should hug me and he should say that I look good and all. Similarly, why cannot the women also, just let the man know that, you do a lot for us, and I'm happy because you are there, and I can buy everything, but this one small thing which you buy for me makes my life. It's how
Right.
difficult it is. Right? We both have to keep on doing it for each other. That's why we are in a relationship. Otherwise, we are good independently. We are earning, each one of us is earning. Why do we need the partner?
Right.
So it's about understanding the need of the other person also.
Right. Before it damages the relationship any
Yes.
further. So, what should parents teach their sons and daughters if they have children? I assume they do. Sometimes they don't. That's okay. But if there are children involved, what
Yeah.
should they be doing so that independence and partnership can run together, in the same?
That's the place where it has to start. Definitely has to start at that place, because building up self worth in children is easier than, a grown up man or woman changing. So I feel that when you have younger children, making them aware of who they are beyond the competition in the world that is there for them every time. How do you evaluate? If a child comes home with a progress report cards and it says that he's not done very well, he's still not scored very good, I would prefer to, just compare it with maybe the last report of the same child and, say, okay, you've gained 2 marks as compared to last time. Yeah, that's great. Let's celebrate. This is one of the small steps. There are many different ways because all the children are different. You need to deal with them in a different way.
Of
But
course.
letting them realize that each one of them is worth everything in this world, right? And with that, we can expect a lot to change as adults, because then we are not in competition with our partner, because then we are not trying to prove something to someone. We can still
Right.
be together and good with each other. That's when you have younger children. But then, when children are in the dating age and marriage age, That's when I think the parents really need to talk, and that's when they really don't talk.
Mm,
Small things like I say that the mother who has suffered all her life because her husband did not appreciate her or love her. So she's the right person to tell the son about this. You know, give a lot of praise to your wife. She's a woman. She needs to be told that she's beautiful. She needs to know that you still love her. It doesn't matter how many years has passed. She's the best one to tell it to the son. At the same time, the father should be the one telling the daughter that whatever you earn, let him know that he is the most important thing in your life, that he is the one because of which you are able to earn good amount of money and go out and work. These are the small things. It's like, some women say that, why do I have to do this and all of it. It doesn't matter if you want to be in a relationship.
simple, but it's hard to do because people have to put their ego aside. It's the only way this works, right?
Basically, yes. And that's, you can set it aside only when you are assured of yourself. Then
Right.
it doesn't matter. That it's not about, who's down or who's up. It's about we are feeling good. I heard an interview of Indira Nui.
Yeah, just to make sure Indra Nui people know that it's the former chairman of and the CEO of Pepsi.
Yes. And she said that I was working so hard and I would be appreciated and I would get rewards and, different kinds of accolades. He said that my mother had told me that when you come home, leave everything outside. So she said that practically when I would enter the garage and I would park my car, I would leave everything in the garage and then enter the.
Right.
That is the amount of maturity which is required to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's not about male insecurity. Females are also insecure many times, but we
Sure,
do
yeah.
see a lot of males suffering from this hype about we have made about the women empowerment.
That's right.
So, have you experienced this or have you met someone who has gone through this? Because I had a question for you. What does it look like when someone recognizes this pattern in themselves? Because usually we tend to point out to the mistakes in our partner.
Oh, very easy to do that. Yes. I think it does take, as you say, self-awareness because that's all I've become more self-aware, particularly since the passing of my wife, because I realized maybe my old behaviors and how I did what I did, the pattern recognition. But even while she was alive, I recognized, and she was bold enough to tell me, "You really mean this? Huh? How does that make you feel?" So, having this challenging question sometimes, asking, I would learn from that person and her and others to say, okay, well, so apply that to work. If I had a little bit of a tiff in the morning and I'm showing up at work, and I would simply play that back like she asked me, I would say to this colleague of mine, she goes, "How does that make you feel when you say that, John?" And it would be like, all it is a little bit of a throwing down the gauntlet and saying, "Really, you meant to tell me that?" So there are ways you can actually simply create questions, and that's a whole art to it. And so I've learned a lot about questioning. Oh, really? How does that help you, work on your relationship with your wife or your husband? And so now when I say something like this, it actually makes a difference because I know what it feels like to me when I was asked that question. Really? You meant that? Of course I meant that. I was angry. Okay. And how does that make you feel now? So this is like little questions, and you can come up with these so that it's not offensive to the other person, but you're literally either showing them the mirror or saying, huh, I screwed up here. So I do use some of these, believe it or not, in my coaching a lot. I love doing this sort of thing. But it doesn't mean things change. It's a breaking a pattern. That's all I'm talking about.
Because personally, I would say I was not a person who would always feel great about myself. I did suffer with a lot of issues that come with low self worth for many years. And it took time to become aware of what's happening inside of me. And whatever my issues were, most of them were not to be blamed on the other people. I
Sure.
had to work on it myself. So it's a nice thing, I believe, but that, what I say, the breakthrough time is a difficult one because for us to recognize this, that, actually the other person is not a problem, I am the problem,
Yeah.
it's really heartbreaking. So there's a lot of resistance at that particular stage.
Absolutely.
But I would say once you started working in that direction, you know, everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes. I mean, I've realized fears disappear, insecurities disappear. and you're living in a different world. It's beautiful.
So what's the question one would ask oneself? Not what can I do better? What have I done wrong? And therefore, what can I do better? I think that is, to me, that's a binary question. I think it needs to be something deeper than that to say, okay, well, I really don't know. And to say I don't know as a man can be very hard because I think I've experienced everything, all the ups and downs of life. What are you going to teach me about life? Well, it isn't about that. It's just about I had self-worth issues for almost 40 years of my life. So I've worked the last 20 years just trying to, I'm worth something to me, forget about what other people value or don't
Right.
value. As you were saying earlier, I think, the feeling of success, whether it's Indra Nuiz's example or others, is about how much progress you made from the last time. So if that child's report, and I've had that experience where, how come you didn't get 100? You have 92. What happened to the other 8 points? That is defeating, right, for the child.
Yeah.
That's all I grew up with, which I did, by the way, is like, wait, can I not be like, I had 92 last and now I got 94? Well, that's worth something.
Yeah.
It's competition is with me, not with anybody else. But how
It's
many times
it's
have we
such
hammered that to the world? It doesn't work like that.
it's such a simple thing, simple step. With I believe that I have this thing which I teach at my teachers training program, which I am for sure that none of the schools has implemented. But I just tell that, suppose if it's a maths teacher and a new class is starting, new students are coming in, the teacher can just spend one class asking each of them how much they scored last year.
Right.
Okay. And then giving them a target to score 2 marks more than that, what they score. And it's easy to do that. And each one
Yeah.
feels that I can be the winner, right? It's a
Right.
simple step. But what I see is no one is bothered about any of these things. So then when you become adults, that's when, if you do get that awareness, it's your own responsibility to work on it. Tell, simply, I'm doing good. I'm okay.
Okay,
I'm
so
doing.
what would be like three takeaways from this call for people watching or listening, given where they're at in this male insecurity version of, and because of the independence of the woman? It's
Yeah.
not about the male. I recognize that it's both. So,
It is both. Yes, yes. I would definitely say number one that women, if they feel empowered, they should also work on getting a lot of humility,
mhm,
because relationship with others is more important because you have to live with relationships, right? Number two is to all the men, I would say that if you feel threatened, if you feel that a woman who's doing better than you is there's something wrong with her, it's an indication you need to work with yourself and you need help. And number three, the most important of all of this is ultimately we all need to focus on love and happiness. And if we keep our focus on love and happiness, then we can overcome all of these things because we are motivated. Then the motivation is not to put the other person down. The motivation is to build up happiness for myself.
number three is a hard one because that is the fundamental issue. Like, what gives me happiness? And most of us don't look for happiness outside, like something or some situation is going to help us rather than us saying we can be happy or sad for no reason at all. So can you, on the three itself, like, what's the way to at least snap into being okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm alive and I'm happy.
Yeah,
Whatever.
so
How do you,
basically, I believe nature does not create defective pieces. Each one of
that's right.
us is really worth it. And when
Right.
we see it in the movies, we see in the documentaries, we have seen all kinds of people doing well. People with
That's right.
disabilities, people coming from absolute abject poverty, and we've seen all kinds of people. But when it comes to us, we are not ready to believe. I feel that wherever we are today, it's amazing. And also, I would say that, if you're not feeling okay, amazing about yourself, work with someone. Get a coach, get a counselor, whoever you feel counselor, work with
Yeah,
someone because life is worth it. Life is worth
absolutely.
feeling that amazing feeling.
So that's gold for me from this episode. Like, guys, you can be happy for no reason. Everybody's uniquely created, right? So that's enough. You're enough, always enough. So
Yes.
love that. All right. So on that note, we're gonna go and work on our next episode, which is coming up. We're not gonna tell you what it is. And as always, Sapna, please tell them to write to us, and so we can, be very specific with a particular situation that people are facing.
But do write to us. Do share about yourself, your friends, your experiences, anything, and do tell us what do you want us to discuss and talk with you.
Until next time, here's
See you
Sapna and
soon.
Raju signing off. Take care. If something in today's conversation stayed with you, well, sit with it. That discomfort is telling you something worth listening to.
Before thinking of who needs to hear this and who needs to change, try to introspect. We read every comment and message and reply them personally. Tell us what come up for you.
And if someone in your life actually does need to hear this, send it to them. That might be the most important thing you do today.
Subscribe so that you never miss a conversation.
See you in the next episode.